Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this special edition of AUF Podcast. I remain your humble host, Kelvin Smiles, and with me here is the beautiful, intelligent, and lovely lady by the name.
Hello everyone, my name is Esther.
So today, we're going to be diving into the Reddit stories, where we read stories of the things happening in our society today, and we give our reactions.
Okay, so the very first story we'll be starting with is a work related story.
Interesting.
Yeah, so this person says
Yeah.
the saying, do not mix business with pleasure, should be taken very seriously
Okay. I
as
agree with that.
as it is a very important rule in
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
workspace.
Absolutely. Very, very important.
As a matter of fact, it is a rule that should be implemented by every company or organization.
Absolutely.
You agree with it?
I agree with that 100%.
Seems like you have a personal experience.
Yeah, I mean, it ended up quite messy, so I agree with that 100%. You don't really need to mix business with pleasure. You do business, then after business, whatever comes after comes after. Yeah, I agree with
Okay.
that.
Okay, so this person says in 2021, I had just gotten a job at a grocery store. I was beginning to adapt to the new job and environment. So many new faces that I was trying to get acquainted with. It was all good. I was still at my first week when one morning I bumped into this nigga. Guess
Okay.
guess he was on leave.
This
That's why
nigga.
I didn't meet him earlier. He wasn't really my spec. He was short, like really short, and I'm a tall girl.
Okay.
So it just wasn't a match.
Okay.
But he had a cute face, a warm smile, and also a nice personality.
Okay.
We said hi to each other. He immediately knew that I was a new staff and asked for my name. I told him, and he told me his name as well. For the sake of this story, let's call him Lucas.
Lucas Modric. Sounds like Makanaki, a sharpshooter. Continue.
Lucas then asked me when I started working there. I told him I had started earlier in the week. We
Okay.
exchanged a few more pleasantries and then went back to our workstations. Subsequently, Lucas and I went from just saying hi at work to going home together.
This one is no longer work, going home together.
He would always have to pass my area to get to his own area, so it was always convenient. He got my number and we would always talk at night after we've both gotten home and settled down. He wasn't my type of guy, quite alright, but our conversations were cool and fun, and I was already getting very comfortable around him. He was way older than I was, so he never lacked interesting and intriguing life experiences to share with me, which made me enjoy his company.
These old people, they always get within the one talk.
In a matter of 2 weeks, Lucas and I were already plotting to get our days off for the week on the same day so we could meet outside of work.
You guys are now mixing business with pleasure.
Like very well.
Okay.
So our plan eventually worked in about my third week of working there. So it was a very beautiful Wednesday morning. I woke up bright and early, ready to go and spend my day with my new crush, because that is what he was at this point.
Not a co-worker anymore.
Not a co-worker anymore.
Okay.
Initially, we had arranged to meet at a restaurant. Little did I know that this guy was struggling a lot in life. He couldn't even afford a proper lunch for us at a fine restaurant. So
The
he
struggling
the
Lucas.
struggling Lucas. So he called to cancel the outing and suggested that we meet at his place instead, that he will arrange for a little something for us. My naive self agreed to the meeting at his place. At that point, the most important thing for me was seeing him that day. So I eventually went to his place. It was not all that at all.
Okay.
Just a small self-contained, but anything would do for me at that point.
He's a small man with a small self-contained, you know.
So we talked and laughed for hours and hours, having a good time with some food and drinks, and eventually things went down.
Lucas. It's
Now,
about to go down, and it did went
now,
down.
now, this is where things get messy.
Okay.
The chemistry between me and this guy became so uncontrollable and noticeable by our fellow staffs.
Was it that good? Lucas. Oh, I don't know. Do you know? I don't think you do. Continue.
Now, what gave me the shock of my life was that this guy had an ex in this same store that I wasn't aware of. He never for once mentioned anything about her to me. For the sake of this story, let's call her Eukarya.
Eukarya.
Eukarya was one hell of a person, I tell you. I think their relationship didn't end on a good note, and I think she was still in love with him and still wanted him all to herself, even though they weren't together anymore.
But wait, let me get something straight. There is an old flame in the working space,
Space,
while there is
It's
a new flame in the same working space.
courtesy of the same guy.
Okay, it's about to go all up in flames. Continue.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
I think their relationship didn't end on good terms, and I think she was still in love with him and still wanted him all to herself, even though they weren't together anymore. Hence the reason for her stupid, messy character upon finding out that the both of us were together. It's like the saying goes, if I can't have you, no one else will.
Disastrous.
After she saw our chemistry, I think they had a not so pleasant confrontation, which aggravated her anger, and she came up with a plan to draw closer to me. So on a certain day, she came to my workstation and started talking to me, trying to make friends with me, being nice to me, and trying to help me out with work as a new staff that I was, while still trying to get information from me.
I think Eukarya now switched to Operation Scatter Everything.
Honestly speaking.
Infiltrate and destroy.
Sincerely. My naive self couldn't have ever imagined that she had any ulterior motives behind all that. I wasn't even told anything by Lucas at this point. She eventually asked me what I had going on with Lucas, and I told her that we are cool, very cool. And she was like, "Is that all?" I was laughing. She was trying to get me to tell her more, give her more information.
Bothering you up for you to lose
Exactly.
it
I eventually told her that, yeah, I and Lucas were dating. Worst mistake of my life.
up.
So after work that day, Lucas came to me, and he was sort of tense and agitated. I asked what the problem was. He asked me what I was busy discussing with Eukarya. I didn't even know that he had passed earlier and saw I and Eukarya talking.
Interesting.
I told him nothing. It was just normal walk and girl talk. He shouted, "Normal walk and girl talk
There is nothing normal
with
about
Eukarya."
Yeah, I support Lucas.
I was like,
I
yeah.
support Lucas. There is nothing normal there.
I was like, yeah.
Old flame and new flame. Normal? No, there is nothing normal there. It can't be normal.
I told him, yeah, what's the problem? He gave me a very stern warning to never speak to her again or give her any information about our relationship whatsoever. I told him that I had already did.
Wow.
I had already told her that we are in a relationship. His
Wow.
soul left his body.
Wow.
He started exclamating. He said, no wonder she came to threaten me. I looked at him and asked him, threaten you for what? What do the two of you have that she will come and threaten you? He said he can't tell me anything for now, but please, I should desist from talking to her. He put me on a motorcycle that night to go straight home, that we can't walk home together that day, that his mood is messed up. I went home still trying to figure out what I could have done wrong. The next day, Eukarya came again to my workstation to obviously come and start acting nice to me again. This time, I wasn't really as responsive as I was the previous day or giving her as much attention.
Okay.
She observed this and then asked me a question. Did you have a conversation with Lucas yesterday after work? I was like, why are you asking me that? She smiled sarcastically and said, has Lucas told you about us? Or should I?
You didn't know. Okay. It's about to go down.
I was like, told me what? She said, oh, so Lucas hasn't told you that him and I dated.
Okay. Okay, again something.
I went pale. I asked her, Lucas and you did what? Lucas and I dated, she replied.
Wow.
Now it all made sense to me. His agitation as to the conversations I was having with her. He didn't want me to find out about them. I didn't say anything to her or Lucas for the rest of that day. Immediately after work, I went straight home without saying a word to him or even informing him. He started calling me that night. I only asked him one question on WhatsApp that day and went to bed.
Okay.
And the question was, when were you planning on telling me that you and Eukarya were in a relationship?
He was never planning to tell you that, though.
I woke up the next morning to an insane amount of messages of him explaining everything that had happened between him and Eukarya and why he had to leave her and why he never wanted her to know about our relationship because of the kind of crazy and dangerous person she is.
Wow.
I didn't say a word to him that day. Neither did I pick his unending calls. I was off on this day, so the next day I went to work and he pulled me to a corner and was begging me and trying to re-explain himself. We eventually met after work and settled our differences. Now I was fully aware of the situation and kept my distance from Eukarya, so automatically I was her enemy. I was dating her man.
Ex-man.
Ex-man.
Agent Eukarya.
Few days later, we observed that Eukarya was following us and keeping tabs of us outside work.
Wow.
When
Agent Eukarya.
when we close and go home together, when we take the days off together and go out, where we go, everywhere we were being watched and closely monitored.
Was she obsessed to something?
It's crazy. One particular evening, we were together at his place. Eukarya pulled up and was banging his door. He told me to stay inside and he went outside to meet her. This girl slapped him seriously and started dragging his shirt, basically embarrassing him that day on the road. Basically embarrassing him that day on the road in front of neighbors and passers-by and threatened him seriously. I will never forget what I heard her say while I was inside.
Okay.
And this was what she said. You still one day with this girl, Abi? No problem. I go kill you. Kill am.
That was one obsessed girlfriend.
I,
Ex-girlfriend.
I became so scared immediately. No one has ever threatened me like that before. After she left, I just ran back home without saying anything to Lucas.
Wow.
We eventually talked and sorted things out, but I tell you, nothing ever remained the same from then onwards.
That's crazy.
I was constantly faced with threats, both phone and physical threats,
Wow.
insults, abuses, both in and out of work.
Wow.
5 months had gone by and it became so hard to keep up with the relationship with Lucas as a result of everything I was going through mentally, physically, and emotionally.
That's crazy.
I eventually got admission into the university in a different state. It affected me emotionally because I knew I was about to leave Lucas behind. But when I tell you that that admission was a miracle and God's way of saving me from grave danger ahead, you wouldn't believe it.
Wow.
Obviously, after getting into school, as a result of everything that I have faced in the relationship with Lucas, I started distancing myself from him. It had become so toxic with everything that was going on. I wasn't happy and at peace with him as I would normally feel when we first began.
Wow.
Less than a month after I left for school, I got a call from Lucas telling me that he has been in hospital for almost 2 weeks.
What hospitalized Lucas?
That he was shot multiple times and he couldn't walk.
Wow. Terrible. Shots
According to him,
multiple times.
Eukarya called him to check up on him in quotes and asked him if he remembered what she said about him being hers and hers alone. She reassured him right there and then on the phone that it will be like that until whenever she says otherwise. She laughed hysterically and said to him, "See you in hell, baby,"
Wow.
and ended the call.
Wow.
In that moment, all that was
Wow.
going through my head was, what if I hadn't gotten admission? What if I was still there? What if it was me?
Wow. Well,
That's
that's one toxic relationship, one toxic story in general.
Very crazy.
It's crazy to wrap my head around it. But
very
then again,
crazy.
the dynamics of the story.
And the fact that this is going on in a workspace.
It's crazy. You know,
How did they
something we
even
said,
focus on
guys,
work for 5 months?
Something we said earlier, guys. Don't mix business with pleasure.
Indeed,
But Lucas went and mixed business with pleasure.
And he
Lucas
mixed it.
vicious.
He mixed it 2 times.
Luka Modric, Makanaki, sharpshooter,
And ended up in the hospital.
and ended up almost unalived.
Wow.
Almost. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Never mix
Wow.
business with pleasure, man.
Guys, please don't mix business with pleasure.
The story is crazy. Very, very, very crazy.
You know,
Very
to me,
crazy.
the dynamics with the story, starting off, I thought it was just about the story of a shop man trying to, reach what he couldn't have. But then again, it turns out to be that the shop man was a sweet man and had it all. He not once, but twice,
And look at where it landed him.
And at the end of the day, he ended up hospitalized.
Never
with
ever
gunshot
ever
wound.
mix business with
It's
pleasure
crazy.
because you can't even do business with emotions.
Yeah.
You
I
can't go
agree
to a
with you.
workplace with emotions.
I agree with you.
You
It's-
can't focus on work. I'm still asking myself, how did they cope? How did they manage?
It's crazy. For 5 good months.
I can bet they were always having issues because how do you focus?
How do you get work done?
Even without having your partner in your workspace, there are times when you have issues at home and you come to work and you are affected. Then talk more of when you are there with the person in the same workspace.
Not just one person, two persons, handful. Lucas, you. Wow.
Ladies, please, no matter how tempting it is, please keep your eyes and your hands away from your co-workers. Please.
And guys, please, I beg you.
Focus on your work.
Do not mix
focus on the work that pays you
with pleasure. Please, guys, don't mix business with pleasure.
Stick to your work.
Stick to your work. Do business. Whatever comes after, but not in the work space with your colleagues. It's not advisable. We never end well. Please, yeah?
So, guys, thank you for listening to this particular story on this episode. Subsequently, we will bring you more stories.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So keep watching, guys. AUF Podcast. Thank you for listening and joining in today for this wonderful story of what's happening in the streets of Nigeria. We look forward to having you again, engaging you in more interesting stories, more interesting happenings in our society. See you guys.
Ciao. If you have any reaction based on this story, please kindly drop your comments in the comment section. Let's interact.
Yes, guys, we're looking forward to your comments, your reaction in the comment section.
Yes, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.